Welcome to Restore 2023. Today we're reading chapters 19 and 20 from the second book of Chronicles. Although King Jehoshaphat is rebuked for his political alliance with Ahab, he is overwhelmingly regarded as a good king, which these two chapters demonstrate. After his safe return from war against Ramoth-Gilead, Jehoshaphat resumed the policy he inaugurated in the third year of his reign. Back then, he'd sent out teachers to instruct the people from the book of the law of the Lord. And now he renewed the mission and went himself the length and breadth of the country to turn people back to God. And then, in personal obedience to Moses' command in Deuteronomy 16:18, he appointed judges throughout the land to establish a stable rule of law. And his instructions to judge fairly in the fear of the Lord were paraphrased straight out of the book of the law. Chapter 20 records the threat to Judah of an invasion from a coalition of three armies from the south. They had already advanced halfway up the Dead Sea as far as En-Gedi, and Judah's army was hugely outnumbered. Jehoshaphat's response was to call an assembly of all the people to seek God's help. Firstly, he proclaimed a fast so people could devote themselves to sincere and urgent prayer. And then he prayed, a prayer very reminiscent of Solomon's prayer at the dedication of the temple and probably based on God's promise of 2 Chronicles 7:14. It was a passionate prayer, acknowledging the greatness of God, the injustice of the current danger, and his own sense of deep inadequacy because they had no power against the invading multitude. And yet his faith shone through. We don't know what to do, he concluded, but our eyes are upon you. The answer was immediate. The Spirit came upon a Levite who prophesied before the whole assembly with such convicting authority that the king and all the people bowed and worshipped God. For the prophecy promised a victory they wouldn't even have to fight for. They were simply to go out, face the enemy, and watch God defeat them. And the next day they did as they were told and went out, led by the temple choir singing praises to God, and full of the faith that what God had said he would do. Of course, we don't know what made the invading forces turn in on themselves, but we've seen things like it in football matches. Two opponents get into a scrap, and in no time both sides have run to the aid of their own player and a brawl has developed. And something like it probably happened in the enemy camp. Coalition differences started a brawl, and then it became a skirmish as others joined in, and finally escalated into bloody battle. But however it happened, the faith of the people was vindicated and bolstered, and great celebrations followed. Even other nations heard of it and feared the Lord God. So we're told that Jehoshaphat had peace on every side and reigned 35 years. His epitaph reads, "He did what was right in the eyes of the Lord."